So anyway, here we are again, and yes, bring your chair to the arena this morning. So we're going to start off actually in the chair, because quite often, especially if we have had a down time and we are recovering, or we want to aid our recovery, we can do loads from the chair, and I just wanted to share that with you. So we're going to do our whole warm-up actually from the chair. You can do it standing up, of course, that's absolutely fine. So we begin with our breathing, and when we're sitting down, hopefully we're not slumped like this. So what we should be, a firm chair with something behind it that could, if you slip, that it won't go back too far. Mine's against the table there. It won't go back too far, and it's actually quite sturdy, so even if you're moving, it won't move. So you need that kind of a chair really. Now we're not sitting back in the chair like that, we're actually sitting towards the middle, so our buttocks are in the middle, and that usually means that our feet can be nice and flat on the ground. So here we go with the warm-ups. I'll just shift around a bit. So here we go with the warm-ups, just as we normally would do. So our breathing nice and steady, and elevating our torso in the chair, and then when we sink down, we just feel that pressure in our feet. So that's why you need your feet a little bit forward, because you want to be able to push down into, or pretend that you're pushing down into your feet. So breathing in and breathing out. It can be out through your mouth. Just some nice even breaths. And just to emphasize that you are thinking about the passage of the breath down into your toes, you can just wiggle your toes there. Okay, breathing in and let it go. So we're just starting our exercises today, our practice today, with some rather deep breaths, kind of not what you would normally do during the day, but just using our breath to bring our awareness into this nice place that we're going to practice in. Okay, so we're going to do the neck first, and we're going to do 3 circles to the right and 3 circles to the left. So off we go, 3 circles to the right, just circling around. So we're not trying to stretch here, just simply drawing a big O with our nose. And bring it back to the centre and just rest for a second, and now we're going to go the other way. Don't worry if you're feeling little creaks and things, that is pretty normal for our age group. Okay, and into the middle again. We're going to do our shoulders next. So just let our arms fall by the side of the chair. Hopefully that's possible, but if not, just on the edge of the chair there is fine. And then lifting up the shoulders and turning them back. Lift, roll back. Lift, roll back. And on this one, on the roll back, we're going to hold it for 5. So lift, roll back, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Do the whole thing the other way. So lift and roll forward. Lift and roll forward. lift, roll forward. And the last one, lift, roll forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Circling 2 new moons, so we're coming down to the whole body, the torso is nice and upright. Sorry, still coughing. 1. As we come back under, it's easier actually when you're sitting down to go underneath the moon there. Nice expansive movement. And rest. So we are still resting in Wuji, as it were. So we're going to do I forgot where we got to. So we're going to do the spine bend now. Now, if you're sitting, you can just make this gate a bit wider, and we're going to drop our head in between our knees or as far down as we can, so that might be just here. So we're not remember, we're not stretching here, we're just moving. So move into that as if you're going to pick something up from the ground. Hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Bring your hands up the body. So if you've done that from standing, which I see some of you are, I'm sorry, I forgot to say that you needed to breathe out as you were going down. So that makes it a bit easier to get into the position. Okay, so we come to our torso and our hips. So we've done our spine, and actually before we move on, we'll do the hands and the elbows. So shaking hands for 3 whole breaths. And that's moving the elbows, of course, there. So we move on to our hips, and of course, if we're sitting down, we want to get some movement there. And we're just going to direct from one buttock to the other, and that's fine. And you can still do quite a nice rotation in the chair. Just see what you can do, moving your hips around. So just moving your hips any which way. And from seated, that's easier than it looks, really. Then we're just going to lift our legs up as well. So lifting each one 3 times. So you can do 3 on the same side or 3 on the other side. And as we're sitting down, we can also do a stretch out of the leg. Toe towards you, hold, and those who are standing, go up onto your toe if you can at that point, and release. Lift, stretch out with leg straight and toe up. Body's quite nice and upright there, and hold that just for a few seconds and release. And then I'm going to do the feet, so rotating the ankle 3 one way and 3 the other. Same with the other leg, and we're all done. So hopefully that will give you something that you can come back to if you're finding a day where you just want to do some exercise, but you really, for whatever reason, if you're in that sort of first zone of recovery from a virus or an injury, then you really want to just do a little bit. I was very inspired by Sophie Rayworth on Woman's Hour one day last week, if you want to look it up. Not because I want to run a marathon, but because of the words that she said, which are just start and it will happen. So it's more about actually doing something on a regular basis with a plan. So even if you have to, make a chart, and this is how we get our little ones to learn about discipline. So we can go back to it, we can use it. And I've been using it myself just for a few days. It's pinned up on my board, and I see it every time. I've worked out a little thing that I want to do. So if that little thing is that you want to just follow the YouTube channel just for 10 minutes, you can do 10 minutes at a time. Of course, that's the beauty of it. You can turn it off and go about your business. Okay, so recovery, and important to take it easy, or if you're beginning to start a journey of exercise or any kind of practice, it is really, don't go straight to the marathon, is it? Okay, so let me just have a little look that everybody is okay there. One more exercise with the back of the chair here, and this one is really for hip health, spine health, and even if you have got aches and pains in your hips, just doing a little measured amount of this is brilliant. So a small amount would be, and I'm pressing the chair against something so that I've got a nice bit of support. So what I'm going to do is I want to come out so that my body is still straight here. My hands are just touching the chair. So hips go back and chin comes down. Legs can be straight here, and chin just comes down, because you should feel the stretch in the back of your legs all the way down. And you can just do a few of those. But what's so good about the chair here is going to help us to do the cat and the cow, which are two yoga exercises, which are hard for us to do sometimes. We don't always want to get down on the ground, but we're using the same muscles and the same leverage, and the same thing will be happening to our spine. So that's 3 like that. And then the other 3, our hips are going to sway forward towards the chair, and our head is going to go up a little bit. Now we're just going to do 3 like that. So come back to the beginning, and a nice stretch of the spine. We're actually stretching a bit more in this than we were earlier. And then we can then do both together, slowly. So when you're tipping forward, you don't necessarily have to do the extension. You can if you want, just tipping forward and tipping back. So it could be just like this. That's where you're beginning. That is great. And then you could build it up to a full bend forward, and hips forward, shoulders back. Hopefully you've been able to find a chair and do that. Okie dokes. So let's go on with let's go on. So I'll just get my book somewhere that I can see it, because if I'm talking I just forget where I am. Okay, so we're going to do we've got, that's about half of the first section. So we're going to do the whole of Shavasana set 1. So hopefully this will also be online, so you can go to this as well. And I'm going to try and do 6 of each. So if it goes both ways, like painting the rainbow, then I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So off we go. Number 1 from the Shubhasha, set 1, 18 moves. Number 1, we're in Wuji stance, so our feet hip distance apart, and we're just raising the chi up and settling it down, often known as commencing. And you will see from the picture that I am pushing my feet into the ground. Relax your shoulders, just be smooth, like slow motion. Just ease yourself into this lovely change of tempo as we begin to practice Shubhasha. That is the 6. So number 2, broadening. And this one, it begins just as we did that first movement, but then we open, imagine this ball of air expanding in front of us and then clearly coming down. So just using your full capacity of your lungs, so we physically change the shape of our body and we are thinking of our health and vitality in a really positive way. The most positive thing is that we are doing something about it. And in doing something about it, we recognise the changes that happen in our world, in our natural world, that are all part and parcel of nature. We absorb that feeling and we embrace it. Painting the rainbow. And you can do the movement of the foot or not, but the swaying is more important perhaps, or just as important as the foot moving. So we're taking the weight down on the right side, left hand drops. Weight on the left side, right hand drops. I've lost count, but I think that's about 6. Separating the clouds. Separating the clouds. Number 4, separating the clouds. I'm moving into a slightly wider stance here. Sorry. So separating the clouds, we bring the hands up to eye level, turn them over, they're near your eyes, push forward and separate the clouds. Your hands up, turn them over, near your face, push forward and down. I mean, you could stay down if you wanted to and strengthen your legs in horse riding stance. And back we come to Wuji. Rolling the arms. Again, we we make the weight go down on the left, roll right hand. weight on the right, roll left hand. Important to see that change of weight and really press down onto the standing leg, strengthening our ankles, all of the ligaments and structures in the foot. Rowing a boat backwards, number 6, rowing a boat backwards in the lake. So we bring our hand, we're back into Wuji stance now, bringing our hands up. These are the oars, and then they go down and around and down. That's one movement. Up, full swing of the oars. I think this will be the last one. Up, roll the oar round, all the way to up and down, and that's the end of that movement. Lifting the ball in front of the shoulders. So when we do this, unusually, the weight actually goes onto the side that you're lifting. So in other exercises that we do, we take the weight and then we move. But in this one, we press down specifically onto the big toe. So lifting the ball and pressing the big toe. So we get that connection between the end of our finger and the end of our toe. Lifting the ball. We really feel like a weight is coming up, and then we push down in the toe. You can hold that for a second before you brush the knee. Lift, press down, turn the hand, brush knee. And we're also getting, as you can recognise, move of the arm. I think that's 6. Number 7, gazing at the moon. So sometimes we do this with our hands on our hip, on our waist, because we want to turn and then stretch. Turn, gaze at the moon. So there's 2 distinct movements there, and you can shift and shift and return. So we've got a turn and a shift. Gazing at the moon. A lovely structural move there, and each of us can do our own thing. I think that's 6. Number what was that one? That was number 8, gazing at the moon. Number 9, turning the waist and pushing palms. So we just allow the hands to just be at waist height, and we're just turning the waist here. So we're just holding the air, if you like, underneath the non-moving hand, just holding the air as we push side to side. With a non-moving hand, palm down. Okay, and what is next? Ooh, turning, where are we with the time? We've got a few more minutes. So let's do cloud hands in horse riding stance. So into the horse riding stance and holding the ball with the left hand underneath. Turn to the right and switch the hands over, and now bring that ball all the way back, and then we just roll it, move it. There's a million different ways of doing cloud hands, but essentially I think we can all recognise the type of movement that's happening here, sometimes known as playing with the dragons and the clouds. And we end. Cloud hands, scooping the sea. So we're going to step forward. As we step forward into bow stance, we scoop from the sea. So you don't have to go too low down. Scoop from the sea, and we bring that up to above our heads, and then palms down. We pivot again, scoop, palms down, scoop, and that's 3 on that side. We'll do the other side, so weight onto the left leg, lifting the right knee, straightening it out, heel to the ground, we go into bow stance, scoop, palms down, scooping the sea and looking at the sky as we pivot forwards and back. Pushing waves, so we're back into Wuji stance, and we're going to lift these imaginary waves and lean down onto the right side, because we're going to make the bow stance to the left, push the waves out, retreat, push, pushing waves. We'll do 3 on this side. And we'll do 3 on the right. The weights firmly coming back and forth. Okay, so we've completed there as far as pushing waves. So I will end this session for a moment, and we'll